Hey everyone, it's Bella and welcome back to the Greenius. In part 1, Nina Boyes helped us see that sustainability is about much more than the environment. It's about people, it's about choices, and it's about the kind of future we want to build together. In this episode, we'll go deeper. We explore how young people can grow to be leaders, about how communities can grow stronger through sustainable tourism, and what keeps Nina hopeful about the future of our planet and us. So let's dive right back in.
Yeah, that's amazing, and it moves on perfectly to our next question, where travel is always said to have an impact on the visitors and the guests and the people that go, but it does have an impact on the places as well. Have you seen a very clear example where travel genuinely strengthened a destination, where the people who live there truly benefited from the visitors?
Yeah, absolutely. So many good examples. There's two, and I'll touch on them quickly that come to mind. Up in Newfoundland in Canada, there is a island called Fogo Island, and
Yeah.
if you haven't looked into this before, it's just like an amazing story. But basically, there's an island that's extremely rural, very remote, and they were experiencing what many rural communities are experiencing. You know, their population was aging. Most younger people were leaving because they didn't have economic opportunities in their home. And the other
Yeah.
thing that had happened there was that massive overfishing meant that their primary fishing industry had been depleted. So again, they didn't have a young, vibrant community to kind of move their story forward. And so what actually happened was a very wealthy individual who was from that area became wealthy later in her life. She saw this issue in her home island and she created a project where she basically invested into creating an incredible collaborative industry on Fogo Island. And the anchor of that was Fogo Island Inn, which is just this very inspiring example where the funds from this amazing world-class property go directly into all of these different community development initiatives. And then in addition to that, they had brought in woodworkers to teach people how to continue making their traditional fishing boats out of wood. And you could go visit these workshops and and then they were starting sustainable fisheries. And there was just so much interconnected, amazing work happening there that tourism was one engine for, or one fuel of. But you went there and you talked to people that were from there and you asked them about like, what was life like here, before this project, and how does it feel now? Very, very different stories. And it's happened in a relatively short period of time. And the secret there, or the key part there, is that it's all community driven. So it's run by community cooperatives. And that's true, I think, in destinations anywhere. The make it or break it for, is this going to be successful and sustainable long term, is, are the local communities driving this? Are they in charge? Are they directly providing their input into the development? Are they managing it? Because you can't just step into other people's homes, tell them what to do, make decisions for them and leave and think that it will go well.
Yeah.
And so that's just one example. And then the other I was going to mention is on another amazing small little island, Sao Tome and Principe. Principe specifically, off the coast of Africa, has become a model for sustainable tourism done right. So again, this was a kind of remote, lush, incredible island that somebody saw, wow, this is relatively untouched. It's not overdeveloped yet, which, as we know in our world, is increasingly rare. And
Yeah.
there's amazing culture here, spectacular, fragile beauty, and just wonderful communities that want opportunity. And so they really started working with community members to create a really robust program around sustainable tourism, again, driven by the community. I had the opportunity to go to both of these places. And in Principe specifically, one of the things that they were doing that I loved was that in addition, they had a couple beautiful hotels and lodges where they were inviting guests to kind of explore and give back and have these amazing experiences. But they were actually also, they had a community cooperative where they were collecting waste from all around the island. They were bringing it to this central place and they were just repurposing all of this waste in such innovative and kind of simple ways. Like I was there, they were creating a broom out of cut up plastic strips from a big board of plastic they had found on a beach, and they were turning it into brooms that they gave to housekeeping at the local hotels. And they had really created this circular, or they were working on creating a circular economy. I bought a little laptop bag made out of reused juice boxes from the island, but they
Wow.
basically were given the chance to create an economy out of waste on an island, which is of course a very challenging, environment to have proper waste management. And I just talking to those women that were managing it, seeing the products and just seeing how innovative and creative and practical they were, and they were so excited about it. And they were actually bringing in experts from other countries to teach them, skills to help them kind of evolve this and sell it back to travelers. And I just said, why can't we do this everywhere?
Course, yeah, and I think it's the future generation that's kind of leading this in a way. And I feel like young travelers today ask very different questions and are going to make very different choices about where they go and how they travel. Do you think that that's true and that our generation is going to push the industry to change faster than it does expect?
I will not speak for your generation, but I will say I certainly hope so, and I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith that they will, and that they already are, because as I was saying earlier, I mean, you look at the questions that are being asked now by young people. Why is our world this way? How can we do this different? Like, I'm not okay with this. We see protests around the world led by young people. It's amazing and it's necessary. I mean, you have this podcast. Belle, may I ask how old you are?
13.
13. So, the fact that a
Yeah.
13-year-old on the other side of the world from where I am right now in southern Mexico is asking these incredible questions and is clearly so knowledgeable and passionate at your age, that gives me so much hope. I'm hopeful that, as double-edged of a sword as technology can be, that the information that we have and the tools that we have, if they're used for good by conscious younger people, and if we're really having these discourses and people feel motivated to work together and drive things forward, I do believe we can shift the needle, and I think we have to. So no pressure, but I have full faith that younger people will be an absolute catalyst for change in the future. And right now. And the reality
Yeah.
is it's not in the future, it's now. You are currently creating the future by having these conversations, by sharing these messages. And I think it's really important to understand that all of our individual small actions really do matter. And while something might seem small to you in the moment, you never know how you might be impacting, inspiring, or educating another person, and how they might take that forward in their own lives. I had a very wise man say to me on a recent project where we were working with some amazing communities in Alabama that were working on community-led African American heritage tours and building up these incredible tourism experiences that honored their history and heritage. And he said to me, you never know when you plant a seed where a tree is going to go, so keep planting seeds wherever you go. And it was just such a simple thing to say, but it really struck me because it's so true. And I've had so many people. I mean, you've asked me about a few of them that it could have been a 5 to 10 minute conversation, and 10 years later, I'm still thinking about it and I still feel moved by it. So, yeah, I would say to anyone listening to this, and especially to younger generations, it's a really overwhelming world out there, but focus
Yeah.
on what you can do locally and do it with other passionate people and celebrate the wins and get excited about moving things forward, because all of that is so, so important.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. That's really touching. And if we stay in the future, let's fast forward like 10, 15 years from now and imagine the travel industry really gets sustainability right. What do you think travel might feel like for people then?
Good question. I mean, what we haven't talked about yet, but is certainly, a critical component of this conversation is, of course, our climate. So, I think that I mean, in travel and in the world more largely, like we have to grapple with and come to terms with the fact that in our lifetime right now, in real time, the world is changing. And it's changing in ways that are increasingly harmful, especially for vulnerable communities. And so the travel industry, if I'm zooming into the travel industry, I think really getting behind initiatives that say climate has to be at the heart of all the decisions that we make. We absolutely, like, if we don't protect our planet right now, and if we don't find ways to decarbonize operations as well as support resilience and adaptation in local destinations, especially again for more vulnerable communities, because climate justice is hugely important in this, and equity. If we don't do that, then we're sort of missing the picture entirely. So my hope, and something we are actively working on at Beyond Green, along with some of our amazing travel partners, such as Travel Foundation, which is an incredible NGO, and Travelist as well in the UK, is we have to center climate and community in every decision that we make, from when we design travel experiences to when we look at how we are going to empower local communities to have projects that help them adapt and change in a world that is, really uncertain. And so if I'm looking 5 to 10 years in the future, I'm very hopeful that many of the companies that have signed the Glasgow Declaration on Climate Action and Tourism and made a public commitment to slashing their carbon emissions in half, that they're really actively achieving that and saying, what else can we do? And that they're bringing travelers into the mix in a really significant way. Because if we're not addressing that, and if we're not centering that, then we're missing the boat entirely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for the kids listening who love nature but aren't old enough to work and travel, what's one way that they can still influence the future of tourism and the way that people experience the planet?
So I would say the best thing you can do as anybody and who loves nature is honestly just spend more time in it. It's a simple piece of advice, but I say this to myself as well. I would recommend we all put down our phones, close our laptops, more often than we might right now, and really go take a walk. Really leave your phone at home. Go listen to birds. Start to really learn about the incredible ecosystems that surround us. You don't have to go to the other side of the world to do that. You can go to your local park. You can go to the forest. You can go take a walk on the beach, but really start paying attention to what's around you. And I mean, if it's amazing that when you really just start focusing on, oh, what's that bird? What's that animal? Oh, wait, why is that plant growing in that way? I mean, the amount of knowledge that nature has and the lessons it has to teach us is truly outstanding. And I think the more connected that we feel to nature wherever we are, that's going to inspire us to live our lives differently. It's going to inspire us, if we do travel eventually, to become different kinds of travelers. And I think being more in touch with nature becomes a compass for living a better life. I don't know if that answers your question directly,
It does.
but I think that's a piece of advice I would give to anybody, to myself included.
Thank you. And just closing off, after working in this space for so long, what still makes you feel optimistic or excited about the future of travel?
So many things. Against all odds and against some facts sometimes, I still genuinely, truly do believe we can and will achieve our goals of building a more resilient, healthy, equitable planet. Obviously, travel alone is not going to solve that, but I do believe that travel is one of the largest industries and fastest growing industries in the world, is such a huge piece of that. So for me, because I'm so passionate about it, that's my area where I feel I can make an impact. But regardless, if you work in travel or any other industry you work in, I think, again, doing what you can where you are and having it come from a place of inspiration and openness and inviting other people to be a part of it as we build a community, that's really, I think, where we're able to kind of catch our stride and say, for me, it's all about the people that you meet along the way. And
Yeah,
you said this
of
about travel.
course.
That's why we travel. Yes, we want to go to beautiful places. Yes, we want to eat amazing food. But all of that, the real kind of heart of all of that is the people that are making the food. It's,
Yes.
the people that are helping ideally to protect and steward their environments, that have
Mm-hmm.
incredible wisdom about these areas. So for me, what inspires me is community building, meeting new people, challenging my perspectives and the way I think by talking to lots of different people, asking them questions, asking them to share their experiences, and just really trying to not get stuck in ruts or specific ways of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but always being open to changing your mind. And I think, again, it's all about the people. So when you meet inspiring people, you can feel it, right? You can feel
Mm-hmm.
yourself
Of
saying, wow, that
course.
was amazing. I feel energized. Now I want to go do something else. And, Bella, I'm saying this sincerely, even having this conversation with you right now, that inspires me. And I'm
Aw,
so
thank
happy you're
you.
asking these amazing questions. It's really impressive. And so, yeah, I hope we can all continue to meet inspiring people throughout our lifetimes and remain open because that's what it's all about.
Thank you so much. And it's always the people behind it, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Now comes the part where you don't have time to think too much. It's the famous Greenius roasted rapid fire. No
Okay.
novels, just the first thing that comes to mind. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
Is there a destination that genuinely changed you as a person?
Mongolia.
If you had to choose, would it be oceans, mountains, or the jungle?
Jungle clad ocean.
Wow. What's one tiny habit that people underestimate that actually helps the planet?
Meditation.
Wow. Sunrise adventure or sunset reflection?
Sunset reflection.
If sustainability had a mascot, what would it be?
Ooh, love that. I'm like making up cartoon characters in my mind.
Yeah.
I would say a drop of water from the middle of the ocean.
Wow. What's a smell that instantly reminds you of a destination?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with lemongrass.
Wonderful. If you could ban one tourist behavior forever, what would it be?
Demanding that people speak English.
If your suitcase could talk, what would it complain about the most?
Oh, the things I put it through.
What's one word your friends would use to describe your travel style?
Ooh, spontaneous.
What's one habit you wish every traveler would start tomorrow?
Asking good questions and really listening.
Thank you. And finally, what gives you hope?
Conversations like this.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, it's truly been an honor having you on here. I hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did.
I love this conversation, Bella. Keep up the good work. Keep doing what you do. And thank you so much for having me on. This has been a delight.
Thank you so much.
Nina, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your stories, and your hope with us over these 2 amazing episodes. You've reminded us that sustainability isn't a destination, it's a journey, one that begins with curiosity, grows with compassion, and becomes so powerful when we choose to walk it together. To everyone listening, remember, you don't have to wait to be much older to make a difference. You just have to notice, you have to care, and you have to take that first small step. So until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep choosing green. Catch you on the green side.